Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome to the show. Boy, we've got a lot of people in here. Hey Gary, good to see you. Jeff, Chad. Let's see. Oh, Phyllis, how you doing? Nightmare Vault, welcome. Sharon, Phyllis, Cryptid Search Investigations, good to see you. Greetings from Belgium. Oh, wow, Sharon. Welcome. Selena, Matt from Nightmare 365. Good to see you. Okay, guys. We have a really, I don't know, I sound like an old TV show here. Really great show. But I have a couple announcements and different things to go over first before I bring on our guest, because we do have a special guest this evening. But right now, I'll go over the announcements. We have our Pennsylvania Bigfoot Project camp out. And if you belong to my group on Facebook, Pennsylvania Bigfoot Project, get in there. All the details are in there for the camp out. And if you're not already a member, get in there and join. It's going to be held in Michaud State Forest. That's in southern Pennsylvania. So, yeah, I know, Phyllis, I'm showing my age. Really good shoe. Hey, Deb. Good to see you there. Okay, the camp out is April 24th through the 27th. So hopefully we'll have a pretty good turnout for that. Okay, and let's see. I've got some non-Bigfoot things going on here. I just heard from a friend. She runs a border collie rescue out in Ohio. She has an urgent need for adopters and foster homes for 16 new border collies. She already has 20, and she works alone. So she needs adopters and foster homes. Her rescue is in Minerva, Ohio, and it's Indian Summers Border Collie Rescue. And if you can't adopt, please consider being a foster, and or you can send a donation. They're on Facebook, Indian Summers Border Collie Rescue. You can go to the Facebook page or go on Messenger and talk with Victoria, and she'll help you out. And I had a border collie that I had rescued from her. At her rescue. Oh, when was it? Well, about 20 years ago. Goodness. She's a great lady. Fantastic. Yes, Deb. She honestly is a fantastic lady. She's a Native American and a medicine woman. And so you can speak with her and get a lot of wisdom, as well as a border collie. Yeah, Selena, same here. Same here. Okay, and I've got a few prayer requests. Pray for the people of California affected by the wildfires. They are in dire need of prayer. Thank you, Gary. Yes, please hit the like button, share, subscribe, comment, but hit that thumbs up button. Thank you. Pray for the people who have with power outages and also no power completely. from the snowstorms, as well as continued power outages and trouble from from Hurricane Helene. Pray for everyone. Oh, okay, pray for everyone listening, everyone in here who has an unspoken need, because I know that there's people in here who are in need, and you don't want to make it public. You're welcome to, you can contact me privately, or else, I'll just, we can all just send up just a general prayer for you, for everyone. Okay, I think that's it. Yes. All right. I'm kind of, I don't know. I'm out of sorts right now. My neighbor passed away yesterday. He's an elderly gentleman. He had lost his wife about a month ago. And fantastic couple. Whenever we moved in here in 2017, even while we were building our property, our home, they would come over, and it's so very welcoming and helpful. And anytime you wanted to know anything about anything that's going on in the area, he would know. Just a fantastic Christian family, couple, elderly couple, and yeah, it hit me hard. But okay, thank you guys. All right, let's get on to what's important right now, though. We have a special guest this evening. Sorry, I'm going to be wiping away some tears for a little bit. But we do have a special guest this evening. Her name is Lavone Holeva. You may have seen her last night on Old Line Cryptids. She is the founder of Pennsylvania Cryptid Research Team. She's a friend and fantastic researcher. She is absolutely outstanding, extremely talented, and I will add her on. Welcome, Lavone.
Hi.
Hi.
Again to some of you in chat. And then hello to the new ones.
Yeah, there's some new ones out there.
Yeah.
So
I'm very sorry, Mary. If I could hug you, I would.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry. We could have rescheduled.
I'm better whenever I'm keeping busy.
All right.
But you run or founded the Pennsylvania Cryptid Research Team, and you have an active team of researchers, or is it primarily yourself?
It's Mark and I, my husband and I. I did have two other ones but we kind of parted ways.
Yeah.
And with good terms, of course.
Yeah.
So because we're just too far apart. It's hard when you've got someone that's 4 hours away and 5 hours away to get together. So it's just Mark and I.
Okay. Yeah, believe me, I know the feeling about your team members being so far away, and
yeah.
But everybody has their own path that they needs to go on, and Lavone used to be one of my team members, and that's why I can say, as with a matter of fact, that yes, she's a fantastic researcher. And everyone's path leads them on, and I am so proud of you, Lavone. I truly am.
Thank you. That means a lot. Very much. It means a lot coming from you. Very much. Thank you.
Well, tell us about how you began and how you started, with Bigfoot and what you've experienced?
Well, here I thought I was going to be this. I mean, I started my ghostwriting business, and I thought I was going to be this major ghostwriter. And then when I went to your, I think it was Glenn's meeting, and then you were there as a speaker, and that's when I came forward with my encounter in Montana for the first time with a group of people, and and I cried.
Yeah, I remember that.
Because it felt so good to tell it after all those years to like-minded people, to people that were not going to look at me and going, oh yeah, she's crazy, like, oh, Bigfoot doesn't exist, and blah, 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 blah. You hear all the, all the mumbo jumbo that we hear.
Oh yeah.
And that's okay. That's okay. The skeptics are the ones that keep us on our toes, because then we question, we question ourselves, we question what we've seen, question what we find, everything, to try to prove that it's a possibility, and I mean, I know we never admit to anything that we find, oh, that is a Sasquatch, until we've seen it, and then we're like, that's a Sasquatch. Right. When darn well it's nothing else, then it's a squatch.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. And then I think it was one of your leads. I went on for the first time with a camp out with one of your leads. And that was quite, but from then on, I was addicted, because I never knew that Bigfoot existed in Pennsylvania. I always thought Montana, because that's where I had my, my first sighting when I was 9, and up, Northern California, Montana and up, Alaska, Canada. I would never imagined Pennsylvania would be full of sightings until I came to the meeting, and then I also thought too that you had to have some type of a degree, some type of a background, a hunter's background, being an avid hunter or a scientist, or, anything with that type of a background that would increase your chances of knowing what you're looking for, that kind of thing. I never would have imagined little old me, or tall me, I should say, going out in the woods and discovering what I have discovered, and then the encounters. I never imagined having an encounter again. And I know we've all heard it, like, once you've seen one, the chances are, if they're there, you're going to see them again, or you're going to, or the activity is like, what do they say? They know when you know that they know that they're there, which is incredible. So that tells me, like, they know our intentions. And for the people that are skeptic and have seen the Sasquatch, that's incredible. I get excited for them, like,
yeah, you do. You want to encourage them that, hey, I know I didn't believe before also, but hey, here they are.
Yeah. Welcome to the rabbit hole, right?
Yes. Yes.
Welcome to the jungle, baby. Except you're not going to die.
No, and that rabbit hole is deep.
But I enjoy it immensely. Like when I went to your, gosh, where was it? Was Columbia County? No, not Columbia County. Your festival that you had, that was that was a good camp out too. That was my first when I saw that blue orb.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Cambria.
Thank you.
Cambria County.
Yeah, my memory. I got to start writing these things down. Actually, Mark writes these things down and he logs them. He's like my manager.
That's good.
He'll tell me the date, He's like, no, he goes, I know you. He goes, I got you, woman. I got you. But yeah, I don't know where you want me to start. Where do you want me to start off?
I know last night you were talking about your sighting in Montana, and I remembered that I had a question that it passed through the chat.
Oh, I apologize. Sorry.
Oh no, that's okay. The chat was going by so fast. It's no wonder. And I figured, well, what the heck? I'll have tonight. So. And maybe go over, for the new people, your first sighting.
Yeah. It was in Great Falls, Montana. We lived up by the airport. And back then it was like 76, 75. I just stick to the 76 date because I was 9. I believe I was not, 8 going on 9. It was that year. I had a little Shetland pony. I was home a lot by myself back in the day, when it was okay to be home alone. And I went out horseback riding, and I friended a Native American girl, and she taught me how to get rid of the saddle, take that bridle off. We're going horsing. If you're going to ride with me, you're going to ride the correct way. And we decided to go riding, and we decided to go down this one road that we don't go because the gentleman had dogs. He had some pretty bad dogs. What breed they were, I can't remember, but I just know that they were bad because they had attacked one of my dogs at one time. He wasn't home, so therefore his dogs were locked up. We felt safe enough to go down this road because we were going to do like a big old loop. That was our plan. I remember that. As we were riding along, we smelt this horrid smell. I mean, like skunk, dead, wet dog, you name it. It was all in there. And, we were covering our nose and going, that stinks, just being little girls. She was older than me. She was 2 years older than me, that I remember. And the horse's ears, we were watching them because, when they're on something, they turn, and we kind of looked in that direction. They were getting a little antsy, but we just kept riding, just kept pushing on. Then we heard a roar coming up there was a quarry. I'm getting ahead of myself and I apologize.
It's okay.
There was a rock quarry on the left of us, and it had a barbed wire fence that prevented anybody from going down. You'd have to go over that barbed wire fence to go down. We heard a roar come down from there, big roar. And we just assumed it was the boys. So, we're yelling like, stupid boys, you don't scare us, just being tough little girls.
Oh, yeah.
And then if I recall correctly, like a basketball size rock came flying up and landed on the opposite side of the barbed wire fence, not on the same side as where we were. And we still thought it's the boys. We're still yelling at them, stupid boys. I was behind her a little bit. Like my pony always wanted to snug its head like right against her horse's butt, which was crazy. And she turned to her left and she just said, we're heading back. We're going home. And she was very firm. She turned her horse around and she did her little like this, and she skedaddled home. I think my horse is littler than hers, so it didn't run as fast. But I did the same thing. I kicked her, started moving. My home was fairly close still at this location, the area where it happened. We had like 10 acres. So at the beginning of that road is where our land began. So I headed back and I had I don't know how long 10 acres is, but I had to go 10 acres, straight down. And I just put my horse, in the pasture. All I had to do is jump off and take the rope off. and went into pasture, went into the house, still not not knowing like what happened, like why did we have to go home. But her father always told me, if you're going to ride with her, you do as she says. You listen to her. She knows this land. You listen to her. And I abide by those rules. I listened. As I was walked into the trailer, we lived in a really small, like mobile home. And my mom had these sheer curtains, so you could see through the curtains. And I looked through the curtains and I saw what I thought like a man dressed in brown, like just big, huge man dressed in brown. So I went to go look, like, what the heck? Like, what's he doing? Like, he's running awfully fast, So I opened up the curtains, and what I saw was this big, huge head, no neck, and broad shoulders, and just very big, running very fast, and like long leaps, like long strides.
Yeah.
And all I could think of was, well, he's moving really fast. Like, I was amazed, but then I got scared because I'm thinking, it's whatever this person's doing, it's coming closer to the home. And I was by myself. And I ducked down behind the window. I was like down. And then I'm thinking, oh God, so I got up real quick and I looked out again and it was gone. And I'm thinking, well, all right. So, it disappeared. Never once at that point did I think, I didn't even know what Bigfoot was.
Yeah.
Like I was saying last night, the only Bigfoot that I think I knew was, I think $6 Million Man was already out at that time with his little episode. I don't know. That could have been after. So if I'm wrong, I apologize. I don't remember. And I knew nothing of its characteristic, nothing of the smell. We had the smell, the rock, and the growl. I knew nothing of. So I never once thought, oh, this was Bigfoot.
Yeah.
But that night, I can't remember if it was that night or the next night, on the news, there was Bigfoot sightings in our area.
Oh.
So I'm thinking, like, no, and it's like I still didn't put it together because to me it was just a big man. I would assume if it was Sasquatch that it would look more like your gorilla, like at the time what everybody says it looks like. And then I think a couple of nights after that, they said they found the news had a gorilla suit found outside the men's bathroom at the airport. And I'm thinking, oh, well, I guess that's what Sasquatch was. I still did not think what I saw was Squatch until after I got older, close to my 20s, and heard more stories. And then I thought, you know what? It had to have been Squatch. It had to have been Squatch. It had to have been.
Yeah.
Because what else could it had been? I can't see any man, and this was an alfalfa field. I can't see any man going out there and running. And I'm thinking now till this day, then I think that thing followed me home. And it's kind of like, was he curious of? Well, I'm thinking this now, like I'm asking myself these questions now. Was it curious of me? And it wanted to follow me home? Did it want to watch me? Did it want to take me?
Yeah. You always wonder.
And when I seen the girl again, I cannot remember her name for the life of me. I wish I would, because I'd go look her up.
Oh my.
And ask her, but she never spoke of it. We went riding again. We never went down that road. We never went down by the rock quarry again. And I don't even know if it was an actual rock quarry. My mom always called it a rock quarry. So I don't even, because I've never been down in there because the barbed wire fence and, you got all keep out, that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. Patty has a question. She says, well, she wonders where the Bigfoot went after you saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows?
I mean, we know they're fast, but considering the distance, I want to say, from remembering, I mean, once that's embedded in your brain, it's kind of hard to forget.
Mm-hmm.
It changes. What's amazing about it is that day changed everything for me, and that moment has stuck with me.
Right. Yeah,
It
that's similar to my own first sighting, that it stuck with me for years because I was 11 whenever I saw my first one, and I had no idea what it was. But it stuck with me for years, and it wasn't until much later that I figured out what it was.
Yep. And Tracy's right, the way that the horse acted.
Yeah.
But she was a Shetland pony. She was a stinker.
Okay.
They
usually are.
used to go, like make a right, like a hard right, and because I didn't have no saddle on, I'd fall off, and then she'd she'd bolt home. So I would be miles from home, and I'd have to walk home by myself. At the age that I was.
Yeah. But I had a horse like that.
She would walk over rattlesnakes, and I'm thinking, looking down, I was like, oh God, and she would just step over. She literally would step over it very slowly. You could see her ears, going doo, and her head going, like this, and step over it. And I thought, man, if she fucks me off and I get bit,
ooh-wee.
I'm gone. But even though she was a stinker, she took care of me.
Okay, Jennifer asked, did it have a human-like face or a gorilla face?
You know what? I could not see the face. It was just all dark. Everything was dark.
Okay.
No neck, round head. It was not your pointed head. It was round.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's a man. A very large brown man.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, I had to tell Mark. I didn't tell. I told a couple of friends in high school, and and I know they just like chuckled and yeah, really, they really didn't pay attention, and that's okay.
Yeah,
that's okay. But I did have to tell Mark before we got married.
Okay. All right.
I saw Bigfoot.
Good.
And he believed me. He says, I have no reason to not believe you. And he goes, I don't think you're crazy.
We've got amazing husbands. That's all I can tell you. We both have amazing husbands.
Yes. He is wonderful. And he's getting into it now.
Good.
He's finding the tracks right along with me. It's like when I see one, he goes, well, we got to measure out. I'm like, you know what? You're right. It's like, that's it. We got to measure out. And like, here's another one. He's like, hey, here's another one, so he's getting there. He's getting into it. He's pretty good.
Good.
I wouldn't be able to do this without him.
And
he has supported me through everything that I've ever done in my life. The man has supported me. He is what he gave me life, if I want to say. Think of a big map. I'm the map. He's the direction.
Okay.
It's like, I want to do all these things and go everywhere and do all this. And he's the one who supplies the direction and says, this is okay.
Yep.
He keeps me in check too.
And
he never says no to me, though. He tries to act like he tells me, well, he never tells me no.
Yeah. Let's see. Jennifer. Okay, Jennifer, I apologize. I forgot to mention where Lavone is from, but Lavone, go ahead and say where you're from.
Oh, I'm in Pennsylvania, east side, a little town called Elverson. Yeah. But I've lived everywhere. You name it. I've been, 35 years. 35 years in California, though.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
God bless you.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm glad to be here, though. It was a hard move, but I'm glad to be here.
Aw.
Yeah.
Oh, whoop, there we go. Yeah,
Oh,
Patrick says
hey,
you're a
Patrick.
sweetheart. Let's see. Oh,
But
I know last night you had mentioned, um, let me see, that the house or what was it, a mobile home that you lived in out in Montana,
yeah,
that occasionally they would slap the side of the mobile home.
yeah. And my brother always thought it was the boys. So he'd go out there with a shotgun, you know, whatever it is.
Mhm.
But he would never come in and say, "Oh yeah, they took off running," or "Yeah, I saw them." He's never said that. He just said, "Oh," he goes, "They're gone now." I think he was 15, 14 at the time. You know, um, so I don't know, but I was talking to Mark about that, and I'm thinking, what if it was the Sasquatch? I mean, what if they were just there this whole time? And
Mhm.
none of us knew, and that's what they were doing. I mean,
Yeah.
I had ridden home from this the girl, we called it the res, whether it was a res or not, I don't know. My mom always called it the res.
Yeah.
And that's because where a lot of the local Native Americans lived all in the same area.
Mhm.
I had the right to go over there. I didn't have to ask permission. I didn't, I had the right to take my horse and just go and ride wherever I wanted, and near the houses. And I remember riding home from her house, and Minnie, that's the name of the horse. I looked to my right, and you know how it's just the cornfields
Mhm.
or even the wheat fields, they're up on like they're raised up, and then the roads go down like a deep little pit. And I remember seeing something like three big, huge, like lumps. I don't know what they are. I actually thought it was like the Loch Ness monster,
Oh,
like a shadow. And Minnie, she got all excited, and I didn't even have to tell her to go. I mean, she just bolted home, and I mean, I hung on for dear life because
yep.
she ran as fast as she possibly could, because I was thinking, oh, that's a Loch Ness monster in the weeds, And I'm thinking, could that have been them? I don't know.
It's very possible.
And I know a couple of people have saying, like, weren't you scared? Well, yeah, like I get scared,
Yeah.
but I'd do anything. It's, I won't jump out of a perfectly good airplane, but I'll do pretty much. I'll try anything, you know.
Well, yeah.
I don't maybe I don't have the logic in my head, like, I don't know. It's not like, why are you doing these? But um I was not like scared.
Mhm.
Not afraid of the dark. Not
Yeah.
um till this day I can walk outside, in the pitch black dark. I'm
Yeah.
not. I don't know why. I probably should be, maybe. I don't know. I'm
Uh,
not afraid of being in the woods at night, you
yeah.
know.
Yeah. It's just there. And I don't know, with myself, I'm not afraid. Well, uh, I feel fear, but I have no problem going out. It's,
Yeah.
if something's going to happen, it's going to happen. But I just don't, I can usually
Mhm.
tell whenever danger's nearby.
You know, not to get off the subject, but I'll tell you real quick, like how our intuition works. And I
Yes.
believe I believe all women have that fear instinct of knowing. I walked out of Walmart. I was being followed in Walmart by three gentlemen.
Mm,
When I walked out of Walmart, it was close to getting dark. Two of them, I only saw two. Went out one door, went out the other door. And I was on them like I was watching them. And when I was walking out of Walmart, one came across the parking lot and another one came in, and they were, speaking a different language. And then one guy whistled, and I turned and I looked at the guy and I held up my purse and I went like this. I stuck my hand in the purse and went it down like that. And I went like that to him. And then he did a whistle, and the two men, they went back inside.
Yep.
And I actually called Walmart and said, hey, this just happened.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, you know what? He goes, you're not the first. He says, to say that. Thank you. But it was kind of like, I let them know, like, you know what? Go for it.
I'm caring. Yeah.
It's like
similar happened to me.
I went like this.
Yeah.
And I put my hand in the purse like that to let it, because I had a Montana purse.
Yep.
I wasn't even carrying.
But just
not even carrying.
But just that act of reaching into your purse. No,
Yeah.
I know similar happened to me. And whenever I was working in Pittsburgh, it was before 6 a.m. because I was working a long shift, I was just grabbing the overtime, and walking from the subway up to the building, and a couple mums came towards me and they started circling. One came towards me, the other one started circling around behind me. And I did the same thing. I put my hand in my purse, I was watching the one in front of me, and, I let them know, hey, I know the other one's coming around. Put my hand in my purse, and they stopped. And just at that moment, a couple construction workers came down the road, so they took off. But yeah, it's all you need to do. Let them know, whether or not you're caring or not. But hey, there's something in there, and they don't know if you are or not. But
yeah, that's when Mark took me down. He says, "You're going to get your concealed."
Yeah.
He says, "You're going to go get it," and it's like, okay. And then there's a lot. I still don't take it with me. She gets very upset, Now I did in California when I went horseback riding.
Yeah.
I had a revolver, my Ruger. I did carry it then, or a big long blade,
Yeah.
I did, because it's man.
Yeah.
Man that I fear.
Yeah.
And some women.
Yeah.
And some women. There's some crazy ladies out there.
There really are. I tell everyone, I don't carry for the Bigfoot. I carry for the hairless bipeds, humans.
Yep.
That's who I carry for. Yep. And that and some critters, but that's about it. But yeah, that's what you do. But and you're right. You follow your instincts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All the way. Yeah. And that's the most important thing. One of your most important senses is your instincts.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I know. I don't want to let my question pass by too far.
Okay.
Your home in Montana, were you the only young female in there, or were there other young females?
Just me.
Okay.
Now there was a little girl that lived kitty corner, like their property was kitty corner. So there was her.
Okay.
She was younger than me. Okay. And then about a half mile down the road were two other children. I remember one of the little girls was she was in a wheelchair.
Okay.
So
and there was your mother,
my mom, my brother, and then my mother's boyfriend.
Okay.
And of course, we had dogs and cats and
chickens.
And,
Yeah, because they're drawn to females. So I know the one that would come around my place all the time. He was watching me, and I knew that. But they're drawn to females. So it's possible that he just made his rounds to your place and smacking the walls of your house. and probably did the same, down the road.
Yeah. And and all the times when we were there, we all know when we're being stared at.
Yeah.
We're being watched. And I don't know how many times I went to fix my curtains to go, to fix them, to shut them, because I felt like I was being watched.
Mm-hmm.
But I never would have imagined, never.
Yeah.
Even now, like there's times, I'll go outside and I'll get that little feeling of being watched. And matter of fact, I'll even say, you know what? I know you see me. Just leave me alone. Even if nobody's there, it could be a bird in the tree, a little squirrel. And the squirrel's probably like, okay, whatever, lady. It's I do that now, and I'll even spot it in the stores.
Okay.
I'll like go and turn and look, and then there's eye contact with the person, and I'm thinking, okay, well, they were, staring at me.
Yeah, somewhat, a creep.
Yeah, take a picture, it'll last longer.
Yeah.
That's what you say when I was a little girl. Take a picture, it'll last longer. I was a scrapper, sorry.
Oh, man.
Feisty little kid. Still am.
And that's good. You have to be.
You gotta be.
Okay, and Jennifer makes a comment that she hears that menstruating women might be in danger. Yes. I don't suggest, if you're in that condition, then I would not suggest going out in the woods.
Yeah, no.
Especially don't go Bigfooting.
Yeah. Well, I'm 58. I don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, add another 10 plus years to you. Yeah, long gone.
Yeah. Oh gosh. But I know you've got a lot of new people. I see a lot of new people in chat.
There are.
But if you wanted me to go over, the recent one.
Yeah.
That we had that big camp, the most fascinating one. I'm just fascinated with this one. And if I have another moment like that again, then I don't know.
Yeah.
Then I would have no words to say about that one. But I went camping up in I can't remember what county it is. It's completely going off my head. I had everything in check. You know where the county is.
Okay. Yes.
We're going to talk about that one. Like central Pennsylvania, central PA, north. Yes. Yeah.
And we can even say the county. It's Campground County.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We're camping there. And I just want to say, before I get to the big one, we all went, there's probably about 11 of us, went on a night hike. Steven Stetzer, he stepped in to be the lead. He wasn't asked, he was told. Yeah. Like, you're going to be the lead.
Now, was it, let me interrupt you for a second. Was this the other camp out that, the one that I was not at?
Yeah, it wasn't like.
It wasn't the one that I was hosting.
Or anything like that. It was someone else who put the camp out together.
Okay. Okay.
We went out on a night hike, and it was by the lake, like the peninsula part of the lake.
Yeah.
Where the big huge group camps, like the day. I think it's the day camp. I don't know. And we went. Everybody was told to be quiet, which was strange. So I figured, okay, well, we'll just be quiet. And everybody kind of went their own way of walking. And the moon was shining pretty bright. So pretty much a lot of us just turned off the red lights and just walked.
Okay.
If you were careful, you could see.
Yeah.
I know about, I'm going to say 30 yards to my left towards the lake, I saw a shadow. A big, I'm going to say at least 8 foot, shadow. And I tried to get someone's attention, like whispering, it's like, hey, I guess somebody was recording at the time. They had recorders all set out. So
Okay.
that's why we were supposed to be quiet, because they wanted to pick up, chatter, anything like that, which I completely understand and respect that.
Mm-hmm.
Another one of the another researcher came in, and I said, I just saw a shadow. And he was like, where? I said, like over there, and I'm pointing. And he's like, oh, didn't say nothing else. I said, I want to go over there. That's not a good idea. It's just like, well, I'm going. But you know what? The whole crew kind of shifted, and that's where we went anyway. So it's not like I was going to go alone. I didn't have to go alone.
Good.
When I got to that area where I saw the shadow, I noticed that when I got up close to where it was very warm, just in that general spot by the trees.
Oh, okay.
2 trees,
Mm-hmm.
very warm. And I told another gentleman, and I said, do you feel that it's really warm? I said, go in and go back out. I said, go in, go back out. I said, it's really warm. He's like, it really is. I kind of told a couple of other people they were walking. I'm like, do you guys feel it? Yeah. They just walked through, and I'm thinking, whatever, like, people pay attention, and then I even had one person saying, oh, it's the sun reflecting off the trees. I thought, it's 10:30 at night, but okay, I'm whispering. And I stuck my arm up, and I'm thinking, man, the heat goes way up. And then as we're standing there, though, the heat started to fade. I did get like this little bit of excitement, like right there. And then I had that pull. I always get a pull when there's something around, like, that it's been there and it's gone. And that's what made me turn to look and see, and I saw the shadow. So whatever it was, I don't know. Where it went, I don't know. I have spoke to a few people that believe that there's some people that have seen the Squatches disappear inside the trees. I'm not saying that's what happened, because I don't know. But it was just really weird that it was very warm there in that spot. And it just almost felt like a body size warm spot.
Wow.
So I don't know, how do you explain that? I don't know. I don't think it was the sun, because why did not any other trees feel warm?
Yeah.
I mean, I know that they probably hold heat for so long, maybe.
Right.
This is trees in the woods. How did the sun?
Yeah.
That's blocked from all the other trees. So and that's not even where the sun went down.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, no, not the sun. There's something else, And prior to that, I got ahead of myself, and I apologize. I heard whoops, and I tried to get people's attention. One of the researchers, he goes, you know what? He goes, I heard it. And I said, okay. There was one whoop on one side, and then another whoop. And then I even mentioned to another gentleman, hey, if we want to do anything, we might want to start off over here, because I did hear some whoops. But not to, I don't want to sound mean, but everybody just kind of, disregarded what I had to say. Like, she don't know. And it's like, okay. And it's all good. It's all good. But it's just you gotta pay attention when someone else says, hey, I see something. You gotta listen and give them the benefit of the doubt.
You really
because
do.
it's where you need to go. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if you want to see them,
Right.
you know,
Right.
there's a big chance. But the next day, Stephen and Shelley and we went for a hike that was away from camp. And Shelley, like I have said before, Shelley has this intuition. She's just phenomenal with.
She
It's like
really.
she lead you right to them.
Mm.
But they had an area that they wanted to hike that they were not able to do. And as we were going in, we could hear tree snaps. And I even said to Shelley, and I said, man, I'm like, I've got that tummy pull going on this way. And I said, got it on that way. And I said, are you feeling what I'm feeling? And she goes, oh, yeah. And I said, we're being watched. And she's like, oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it was raining. And that's what I love about Stephen and Shelley. They don't give up. We're here
They
for
don't. They are persistent, and they're very good.
We're going to keep going. And I was okay with that. I pulled out my plastic blue coat.
Yep.
And we just kept going. When we got to the edge of the lake, Stephen found two fantastic prints. He decided to cast one of them. He actually waded into the water and he walked around the tree that was overlapping part of the lake. And he come back because there was like an opening area, like a beach-like area on the other side of the tree. We could have gotten to that area if we walked through the trees. There was a little bit of an opening, but something said stay back for all of us. We all decided we're not going to go back there. But Stephen come back and he says, yeah, he goes, there's some prints over there, but he decided to cast this one, the one that was in the water, not in the water, but the edge.
Right.
And we got to wait, for the stuff to dry. So I started to walk back up the hill a little way. So I turned I had my back to the lake, and I started to walk back up, and something moved and it caught my eye. So I looked to the left and I saw what was white glowing eye, like they were glowing.
Okay.
Not the whites of like a human eye, but literally like two little lights.
Right.
And I looked, and as soon as I got eye contact with what was looking in there, the eyes went black.
Oh.
And then I saw this little round head, two black eyes, and the hair was like all twisted and just like sticking out, like all messed up. And I was just like, well, look at you. And I'm like, where's Mama? And then at that time, my ears, I knew for a fact, I am looking at a very young Sasquatch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is the nose, the lips, the eyes, the hair, the body.
Yep.
I just want to say like cutesy, like a cute little toddler.
Yeah.
It slowly turned its head like this, very graceful movements, just slow, and turned back to look, blinking its eyes. My ears started going, woo, 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 like, not like a heartbeat, but just vibrating inside my head, to where I thought it was a helicopter going above. So I didn't pay attention to, that's probably why I can't hear anything, because there's a helicopter going on. And, and I'm sitting here talking to this thing, letting it know we're not going to stay long. I kept repeating, where's Mama? Why is it here by itself? And in the meantime, something taller comes walking in. You could see the legs. And as it squatted, I could see the torso, the pecs. So that's when I knew that's a male.
Yeah.
I also thought to myself, it's not a big one, not bigger than the small one. Right. So I'm thinking that's got to be Big Brother. And I even said, are you big brother?
He was supposed to be babysitting and
Yeah, you could see he had black eyes.
okay.
So I did not see any whites. Definitely had the deep set eyes.
Yeah.
And he was blinking. His little lips was moving like that, moving around. Then
Yeah.
there was a branch like covering this part. And at that time, Shelly stepped into my view, because I was kind of like squatted down looking.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't move. I was more like, where's Mama? And she steps in my view, and I hear, Laban! Like, when I stood up, and I was like, why's she yelling at me? Like, what? And she's like, did you not hear that? I'm like, hear what? And she goes, 2 trays just came crashing down. She goes, echoed the whole lake. And I was like, no, I did not hear that. I'm not talking to Sasquatch, And she's like, she comes down, and she's giggling, and she's like, and I told her my ears, and at that time my ears stopped.
Mm-hmm.
That it stopped.
Right.
And she come down closer to me, and she's like, yeah, she says, because she could see movement. But Stephen and Shelly, being more experienced than I am, they were like, okay, where's Mama? Where, who knocked these trees down? What's going on? And then Shelly and I, she goes and she snaps a picture, and she's like, is this what you're seeing? Because we wanted to compare, like, are we seeing the same thing?
Yeah.
And I said, yeah. And I said, it's blurry. The photo was blurry.
Okay.
But yes, there's something there, And I said, and then she's going through it, and then she starts like, I can't believe this. And it's like, wait a minute, like, what happened? She's scrolling, and she lost 5 days worth of photos.
Oh, wow.
Steven slipped me the camera, his little like recorder.
Mm-hmm.
Comes in like behind me and gives it to me, and I'm trying to record, and his camera is like, it's got the one with the window, like it opens up the door.
Yeah.
It starts doing all kinds of funny things, and I didn't have my glasses on either, but I could tell that it's not picking up. There's something going on. So I gave it back to Steven, and Shelly and I are just like laughing, because she was like, I can't believe you didn't. She goes, I was wondering, like, you didn't even flinch. She's like, you didn't nothing. And she says, you're just like, oh, hi. And I said,
and you didn't even hear them at all?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I had tears in my eyes. We were laughing so hard. And here in the meantime, they're still sitting there, just minding their business. Stephen did say, I'm going to go ahead and dig up the cast. He goes, it's not dry yet. He goes, but I'm going to dig it as deep as I can. He goes, I think it's time to go.
Yeah.
So we're like,
yeah. If they're pushing trees down, then it's time to go.
Yes. And, we got escorted out. We knew that, but we did not rush out.
Yeah.
We still took our time. We still acted normal.
Good.
I wasn't scared. Shelly wasn't scared. Stephen, they've been there, done that. So this is nothing new to them.
Right.
And then we just, we got back to the truck. Shelly I think Shelly heard a little like call, like a whoop or something.
Okay.
It's funny because she asked me, because she's doing a little like, a research, like if they understand different languages. And she was like, can you say goodbye to them in German? She goes, I want to see if we get a reaction. Well, yeah, so, and I'm just saying, I'll be the same, and that kind of thing. And, and, a snap.
Okay.
So was it more like, keep going? You humans,
Probably.
or was it like a response?
Who knows?
Yeah. But we went back to camp. night came, and I am not sure if it was the same group of squatches or if it was a new, because I know this area is just flooded with them.
Yeah.
But we had little pebbles being thrown, and Shelly and I both believe that they were messing with Mac. Mac was on a leash. You had to keep your dogs leashed there. And he was in training, so he had a collar on. Mm-hmm. But he's an Australian Shepherd, so everybody, he needed a collar. He was a stinker. The vibration one, like, could vibrate him. But he was chasing. We kept hearing tink, tink, and I'm thinking, what is that? And Shelly had her back to the tree line, and she goes, "They're messing with Mac." And I'm like, "Who's messing with Mac?" And she goes, "They're throwing pebbles." And I'm like, "Are they back there?" And she goes, "Oh yeah." She goes, "That's what we do." And he was getting up and he was going after him, and you could literally see the pebbles rolling, and I'm thinking, this is incredible. But we still acted like ourselves. We did not go and turn and watch the tree line. We let them engage how they wanted to engage.
It's good he was on a collar, though, because if he would have been loose, he probably would have chased after those rocks or gone. Who knows? He may have gone in, and that would have been the last you would have saw. Yeah.
Because I wanted to take him to use the restroom, and I walked towards the other, like a different area of the tree line. He did not want to go there. And that I kept taking him in that same area so that just to keep it all in that area. And then, of course, cleaned up each and every time.
Yeah.
But so I had to take him out closer to the road to go to the bathroom. Mm-hmm. And as we turned back around, there was a loud howl. It was not a coyote howl. I know what coyotes sound like. This was loud, and it echoed the camp. My husband was in the tent at the time, and I said, "Did you hear that?" And he goes, "Yep." Mac sat. He just sat and he whined. Now, like, he sat to attention and he whined.
Yeah.
He was very nervous of getting in the tent.
Okay.
And
they were probably behind it.
Yeah, and I knew.
Yeah.
But I didn't act. I wasn't scared. I did not feel threatened in any way.
Yeah. What can you do? You go ahead.
And of course they messed with the tent. I mean, you can literally hear the sliding of whatever, finger, stick, whatever they used.
Mm-hmm.
And then the little bug light was going like crazy. There was no wind that night.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of watched it with his eyes, looking up, and he whined, and he wanted to get in the cot with me, and he had his own little cot. I had to reassure him, like, "Mac, it's okay."
Yeah.
And he just followed as the wipe went down to the other side. And you could tell he was a little nervous.
Yeah.
And then I heard this really bad turkey call. It was like that. And I even said, "Wow." And I'm like, "That's really bad."
Y'all need more practice out there.
And I just went to sleep. I'm like, what are you going to do?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, go ahead and play, do what you want.
And that's what they do, and what else can you just go to sleep, let them play and ignore them. That's what I do. And they go away.
Yeah. And, and the next morning we did look behind the trees, but it was really leafy.
Yeah.
So there were deep impressions, but they weren't enough to take photos or do a cast. It was nothing. Just that was a good indication to saying, okay, that is what we were dealing with, and I'm thinking, we were in the middle of camp. How did they get from where we were
Mm-hmm.
and not be seen,
Yeah.
not causing any other dogs to bark,
Right.
because we were in where the dog area is. There was dogs in every camp.
Okay, so you were in the main campground where, okay, but
Yeah.
a different section where dogs were allowed.
It's like, how did they get
Well,
through there? I mean, I know
very
there's,
easily.
like what?
Yeah. Yeah, because whenever we were there, I think it was the previous year, then whenever you went, I can't remember whenever you went, but it was at the very least a few months previous.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were right on the edge of camp, and they came up while we were sitting around the campfire, and they were watching us. And like you, I could feel the pressure in my head. They were hitting all of us with infrasound, and it was just getting pretty bad. And I was getting pissed because the pressure was just so bad on my head. And I looked over at them and I just hollered at them to quit it. And they did. They stopped, which is good. For once they listened. But yeah, that wrong, that would have been infrasound. Probably it could have been the big brother trying to make you to go away. Or it could have been mommy or daddy. They pushed down the trees and that wasn't making you go away. So they had to do something. But yeah, it'll affect the electronics. So that's why the cameras were not working. It'll drain batteries. And this is for, the audience benefit also. Infrasound, and you can look this up online. It's military studies on infrasound where it will drain batteries and it will affect electronics. That's scientific fact. That's not woo or magic or anything like that. That's science. But yeah, it's. I know very well about the trees. I've had 3 trees knocked down around me, and it's like, okay, well, time to go. Yeah.
Yeah, and and I know we were very lucky that day. I was very lucky that day.
Mm-hmm.
It was a fantastic encounter.
Yeah.
I would have never even expected it. I never expected to see anything that day or after that. I've seen more after that.
Mm-hmm.
How, why, I don't know. I mean, I've had to, I've talked to Shelly and think of Shelly, am I conjuring these things up in my head? Is it, am I going cuckoo? And she's like, were you alone when you seen these things? Thought, no. And she goes, didn't other people see them with you? And I was like, yeah. And she goes, quit beating yourself up.
Yes, don't doubt yourself.
Yeah. And I'm thinking, not everybody. I mean, how many times people have gone out like, oh, I've been doing this for 50 years. I've never seen one. Why they don't get to, I don't know.
Yeah. I have no idea either. I don't know. But what is your theory on why you and myself and others have multiple sightings, whereas other people, like you said, 50 years out in the woods and they don't see a thing? Some people think that they tag us in some way, or something else. What is your theory?
I believe that 100% now. And that's only because Kirk Reed is the one that I had contacted a while ago because I was very intrigued with Dogman.
Yeah.
And another researcher said, well, then you need to talk to Kirk Reed. I have been to Dogman areas I've had dreams about Dogman.
Huh.
Seen what I thought was, I saw the legs, Kirk saw the body because he was in the vehicle before me. So I don't, tagged is a good word for it.
Yeah.
I think sometimes maybe somebody, when they do see them, that it might have been by mistake, like it was an accident on their part, that a careless, of not being elusive enough. But I'm beginning to think that they're saying, you know what? I remember, it's almost as if they, like, we're all made out of energy, it has to do with energy. And sometimes I can't, forgive me for not being able to explain it clearly. I'm going to be like a childlike explanation. It's like they know.
Yeah.
I think it's in us now because we can't shake. I'm about ready to cry. We can't shake that image.
No.
We have no explanation as to why. I mean, sometimes I want to go in mind speak to these things and say, why me? Why her? Why him? Why are you watching us? Why are you fascinated with us? What where did you come from? That kind of thing. But they know that we know.
Yeah.
We know. It's kind of like, because I mean, I've gone to my area and there's been no sightings in this area. Seen them twice in my area. Found prints in my area. Did I manifest it? Did I say, because I go out there and yes, I do, yes, I do talk to the trees. I've been taught that when I was camping in Montana with my mother's boyfriend at the time. Being he had Native American blood. You go out there and you touch the trees before you go in the woods, and you always, you pray before you go in. You give thanks, you apologize, you what you bring in, you take out. You don't go in and be destructive. You do not be disrespectful. And I've learned that. So I've always done that. Now, mind you, there's been a couple of times that I did not, but I have gone in, I placed my hand on the tree. My husband, Mark's so funny. Mark, how he is. He goes, "You're going to touch your tree and do your voodoo thing." I gotta love that man. Voodoo on these trees.
Oh my.
And, when I had my hand on the one tree for the longest time, I was holding it there. For some reason, I could not. It was dark. I could not take my hand off the tree. The tree was really warm. And I thought, I just kept, praying and, and just sitting there and just taking it all in with the tree. Mother Earth, with everything that's there, all the energy, just trying to like get it all in there. And the ground, you could feel the ground like if it was heavy footsteps.
Yes.
Mark seen something behind me move, a very large, dark shadow.
Okay.
And he said, "It's time to go." And I said, "It is time to go. I agree. 100%. And I said, "I am not scared. I do not fear our lives." But I think that was because I asked, is there something here? That's what kept me. I'm like, am I hallucinating? Am I wanting it so bad that I'm making it happen? And that's when I can't make the ground shake.
No.
I'm tall, but I can't make that, I can't do that. And when Mark says he's seen something, he's seen something. There was another time in the same area. It was during the day. This is when the leaves just started falling off the trees. We played some flute music, native flute music, and I said, I'm just going to give it a try. He's like, go for it. And we sat there on a tree that had fallen, years ago. We were sitting there and just playing the flute music, just watching this, really taking it all in and just sitting there and relaxing.
Mm-hmm.
And leaves were falling like in a circle.
Oh.
Like above us, falling. And I said, do you see that? And he goes, I do. And I said, they're not falling over there. And he goes, no, they're not. I said, just right here. And he goes, yeah. And I was like, that's so cool. And I'm thinking, it's just really nice.
It is.
Yeah. And then I think we just stayed there for like a half hour, maybe. As we were walking out, I went back to go and look back at the area, and say thank you, that kind of thing, and just take in one last, of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And something caught my eye up in the trees, and it was a Native American spirit or something. Yeah. At the time, it looked like full on, not like shimmery, ghostly like,
Right.
and it was, head was down like this. So, and I'm thinking, is it hanging? Is it hanging? Is it looking down at us? I did not feel threatened. I did not feel any sadness. As a matter of fact, I felt peace,
mm-hmm.
A little bit of giddiness kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I know, Mark knew I seen something, but he didn't question it until I said that night. And I said, and I told him what I saw. And he goes, I believe you. He goes, I seen you do a double take. And he says, I believe you. He goes, but next time, he goes, can you please share that with me at that moment? He goes, because I would like to see if I can see it as well. And I'm like, deal. From now on, when I see, when I see things, I will let you know.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. I mean, we were driving just down the road just the other day, and I said, what is that guy walking on the road with the blue, he goes, what guy? Oh, there's a guy in a blue coat. And I said, did you just see him? And he goes, he's looking in the mirror and he's like, I don't see anybody. I'm like, well, there's a guy walking on the road with a blue coat. So I'm back and I look and I'm like, well, he's gone now. So I let him know.
Whether or not he wants to.
Yeah. But we've had, I can't explain that. That is things that have, I've dealt with that since I was a child. Even more so after my near death experience. It's more, I'll have vivid dreams of just random things, vivid dreams of random things. And then the next day, I'll see it. I think the coolest one that I had was at the dentist. I can't remember. Heart doctor's office.
Mm-hmm.
I had a dream about a gentleman losing his ATM card, or like the machine took it, like lose his ATM card, or was it me? I can't remember. It was about the ATM card. And then as I was checking out, I gave the lady my ATM card, and I'm like, I'm glad I found my ATM card. And I said, because I had a dream about it. I said that I lost my ATM card. And I said, well, if the machine sucked it up, and I said, it's just something about, and like I kind of panicked in my dream, and and then one guy slaps his hands down like the other guy. And I said, what? And he goes, I lost my ATM card. He goes, and yesterday, he goes, at night, he goes, and I'm like panicking. He goes, because I'm thinking I'm going to get robbed and somebody's going to take all my money. And thinking, he's like, how did you know? And I'm like, well, I don't know. About it. But it's yes, arcane.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. You feel like,
I know. I have those dreams also.
Yeah, it's like, am I going? I mean, I know we're all born with it. They say that we're born with it. We lose it. Society. I mean, I hope I don't get in trouble for saying it, but we do live in a very controlled society.
Yes.
How we're supposed to think, how we're supposed to look, how we're supposed to act, how we're supposed to walk. It's,
Yeah.
the things, everything. It's, all my life, when I was a child, I don't know how many times I've heard it. Like my mom's friends, she's not dealing with a full deck, is she? I mean, you hear that,
Yeah.
and it's because
Different.
yeah, I
And
guess
that's
I
what it is.
understand,
You're
I
not
don't
walking in that rut that
yeah,
everyone else is walking in. You're walking off of the outside the box.
exactly that.
Yeah.
I mean, my son and I had a conversation about this, like, gosh, we had a big car ride when we went to an area that one of your leads sent us to. We had a
Mm-hmm.
long drive, like 2 hours drive there. And I was just telling him, and I said, have you ever just walked through life just wondering how the hell you got here? Wondering how, like, what am I doing? What is my purpose? Why am I here? And he's like, yeah. And I said, I honestly told him, I said, I honestly think Bigfooting is my purpose.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think there's a reason there. I think that's where you're going at with your point. I think there's a reason why there are a select few that see these beings,
Yeah.
these Sasquatches, primates, whatever you want to call them,
Right.
why we see them so often. And I know there's going to be that time where I'm probably going to get bluff charged, screamed at. I don't know. I hope I never get bluff charged because I don't really want to, like, mess my pants.
I can tell you from
Really?
experience. I can tell you from experience, it's a brown shorts moment.
Yeah, it's kind of like,
Yeah.
I anticipate it each and every time I go out.
Yep.
So I know I'll be able to hold my cool. I'll probably be like, ooh, like, okay. I know I'm going to say I'm leaving. You don't stop it.
Mm-hmm.
Chill out. Just don't hurt me.
Yep.
Because I do say it each and every time. I'm not here. If you're here, I said, I'm not here to hurt you. I'm not staying long. I just want to find your toes. That's what I always say. I'm only going to take pictures of your tracks. It's,
Yep.
my husband, he just lets me talk and ramble. He's, bless his heart that he just deals with me. He always says, he goes, it's never a dull moment with you. Never a dull moment.
He sounds like my husband. I'd warned my husband before we married. I said, expect the unexpected. I've held up to that.
Yep. Yep.
Aw.
Yeah. He is. I love him to pieces. He's just been just right by my side through everything,
Yep. We're blessed.
Yeah, and we watch the podcasts together. We watch
Mm-hmm.
all the documentaries. It's. I've been watching some other kind of different channels, like, very highly interested, and I do not know why, but I'm very much interested into the quantum physics.
Yeah.
I'm trying to, like, educate myself on it so that when people talk about it, yes, that I understand.
But even so, you try, okay, let me understand just a tiny little piece of this.
It's trying to figure it out, because
Right.
there's something about these cryptids.
Yeah.
And I think one day we're all going to find out.
Yes.
Are we being taught so that we can teach society to catch them up, to keep them calm. I don't know. I mean, like
That's a
last
good,
Sunday.
that's a possibility.
I-
All I know is I'm here for a reason. God put me here, where I'm at, and I constantly pray, is this where you want me to continue? What, just guide me where, on my path. Just let me know where you want me to go. And here I am, and just trying to learn what I can, pass along what I learn to whoever's interested. And heck, I'm out in regular society with regular people, and I talk Bigfoot with them. I don't care who they are. I talk Bigfoot.
Good.
And a lot of times I'll get the little shake my head or the eye roll, but eventually I get questions. And hey, if I can get somebody interested in it, just put that little crack in their mind to know that, hey, there's a possibility. And that's all I need.
Yeah. And I think we need, like, the younger generation.
Yeah.
I'm really, it excites me when you see someone, in their 20s and they're all about, like, the cryptids, and they're learning, because they're going to get a lot further than me, because I am, only a year and a half, into this, which is, I've got so much to learn. I mean, we all do, still.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh
I
yeah.
just don't stop reading. I don't stop listening. I don't
Yeah.
I don't discount anybody's sighting,
Yeah.
even if it sounds really, like, bizarre,
Mm-hmm.
because, I mean, is it the veil that's being, is it what some people believe? Is it a veil that's being lifted? Are we seeing into another dimension? Is that why we're able to see these things? Or I do not believe that they're just 100% strict, just primates.
No.
And that's just little monkeys running around the woods looking for bananas. They're more than that.
Yes, they are.
They are flesh and blood. Yes.
Yeah. They are flesh and blood, but more along with that.
Yes.
And and we just have to, I don't know. All I know is I'm having fun learning, as I go along. And that's the important thing right now, is I'm having doggone fun.
Yeah, and I am too. And I've met some fantastic people.
Yeah.
I'm talking people with just genuine souls, genuine hearts, and just, I don't think I've met one bad person yet,
Hey,
you
look
got
who's here.
everywhere. But I mean, I've prayed about it, like, back in the day, like my aunt would always say, well, pray for your friends.
Yeah.
So, I would pray and say, God, put the friends that you want me to have in my life.
Yes.
And do you know, they all disappeared? Every single friend I had, poof, was gone. And I'm thinking, well, that's not what I meant. And for 9 years here in Pennsylvania, I still prayed. It's like, I need the friends that you want me to have. And I have met some really good people, that I've lived, since I've lived here in Pennsylvania. And then since the Bigfoot community, it's opened up these doors, these fantastic doors, this fantastic journey
I
that
know.
I'm tickled. I really am. And I love it that we all talk about Sasquatch, the UFOs. I don't mind talking about like UFOs.
Yeah.
The orb,
Yeah.
seen one of them too.
It's connected somehow. I don't know how, it's, if it's energy from the Bigfoot, if they're connected to the Bigfoot, don't know. But yep, there's habit.
And if anybody wants to know, those are like my mentors. That habit, habituation, and Bigfoot. Those are my mentors. I said that last night. That's them. That's Shelly and Steve.
we got to get you guys on here, Steve and Shelly. One of these, we're going to arrange to get you guys on here. Got to talk. Absolutely, because they're good people, and I love them both. Love them both. Fantastic. I'm always talking them up.
Yeah, I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot from them. I mean, when I met Shelly at that festival, I seen her walking up through a truck, and I just seen her, and it was just this. She had this glow about her.
Yes.
And I was immediately like attracted to her. Like, and I don't mean like attracted like the fun, like just like it was a pull, like, and tried to find little ways to like sneak over and like say hi and hello. And we hit it off.
Yeah.
Right away. And she said the same thing. She goes, yeah, she goes, I there was something about you too. And I absolutely, I love her dearly, and she knows that, and I respect everything that that she says. The woman is not going to lie to you.
No, no,
she's not going to steer you in the wrong direction.
No,
she's going to tell you how it is. You take what you want from that.
Yeah. And she's high energy, and I have no idea where she gets her energy, but boy, oh boy.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah. So it's I can't explain the sightings. I think that one sighting that I can mention because it's not my area. It's not my area of interest, but Old 82. But there was a Dogman sighting. I can't say which podcast it was on, but I think it was in, what were we in, 25, 22? In 22. I think it was June 22. Huh?
Yes. Yeah, apparently Shelly's ill tonight. We'll give her a hug from us, and we'll keep her in our prayers.
Yeah, there was a Dogman sighting in Old 82, and it had been reported on a podcast. And so I decided I definitely want to go look, and see if I see any footprints, anything like that. Start off small. I did go with a gentleman. Mark had surgery at the time. He had his ankle replacement. So I went with another gentleman, and then another woman was supposed to meet up with us, but she came a little bit later. I saw what I thought was, at first he saw some bears, what he thought was bears. He just said, he goes, I see these little butts kind of moving. He goes, I think those are bears. I thought, okay. Thinking, wow, it's like, I didn't think there would be any bears in this area, but they show up. I had seen something red, shimmering, very shimmery red hair. It glistened, and it was like laying down. I could see its right shoulder going down, and its hip. When I gave him the binoculars to look, and I said, it's getting up, it's moving. And he was like, he goes, you seen a log? And I thought, no. And I said, yes, there is a log there. And I said, but it was laying down. And he's like, well, I do see something, because we had to look with the binoculars because it was quite far. Seen something walking. So we figured, all right, well, we got up and moved. So we just kept on our hike. And then I seen something again. And I asked for his binoculars, and I was looking. And to me, what I saw was a very large canine. I want to say almost husky colors. Had that mane going down. Had a snout, not a very long one, like a full-on dog.
Okay.
Its eyes were blinking, and it was very like almost, and to me it was like almost angelic. When I was looking through it, I felt peace.
Can you describe its ears?
They were not sticking up like this.
Okay.
They were, I'm trying to do this, like bent, dang it, like bent down.
Okay.
Out, bent down, and then the hair was like over it, like hanging.
Okay.
They were to the side, bent down.
Okay. No,
Not
that's a different one. Interesting.
Yeah. I gave him the binoculars to look, and I could still see it, but I couldn't see it as close as I did, with the binoculars, of course, but I could see the figure. And I said, is it moving? And he says, yes. He says, it's moving. So it turned ever so gracefully. It turned to the left. And I said, turning to the left. And he says, yes. And I said, is it canine? And he goes, no. He goes, it's more scrunched. He did this. He goes, it's more scrunched up.
Okay.
He goes, kind of does look like a Squatch. And he goes, but we don't know. And I said, no.
Yeah.
And then he said it was black. What I saw was
red,
black and white, or gray and white, really just very angelic, graceful. To me, it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Did you see its legs?
No.
Okay.
And and I know there was no dog in a tree. Yeah,
because that would tell you, because there's different types of Bigfoot.
Yeah.
And some of them do have a snout, but it's not pronounced as a Dogman. And the Dogman will have like the German Shepherd pointy ears.
Yeah.
There's the more, I don't know. The different types of Bigfoot, and very well could have been, and who knows if Dogmen have different types also.
Yeah.
But if you would have seen the legs, and that would have told you, a Dogman will have the back legs up like a dog.
Yeah.
Whereas the more primate, like a Bigfoot, will have Bigfoot legs.
Okay.
And that'll tell you if it's Dogman or a type of Bigfoot.
Yeah. It just moved. He just moved very gracefully, very slow, and just kind of disappeared down into the trees and the woods, and that was it. And we continued to walk. We actually drove to what they call the rock wall, where people actually climbed the rock wall. It's in Birdsboro.
Oh, okay.
We found that area. It was nothing after that. And I went back with Mark a few months after that. And he went on his little scooter, because he had his ankle replaced.
Yeah.
And we came across a very interesting woman.
Oh.
It was cold that day. We were all bundled up. And she had just a very light sweater on. And she was walking as if she was drunk or just very disabled. Just wobbly legs, walking. She was smoking a cigarette.
Mm-hmm.
And she come up to us. And at the time, Mark and I were looking for how to, we were just walking because I wanted to show him. I took a picture of something, and a white image appeared in that picture. So I wanted to go back and look at what that white image was to make sure that because it did look like a body.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to make sure that that's what the picture is. So we're walking, and I told him, I said, yeah, there's a rock wall. And I said, you gotta, it's like over here somewhere. And we said that as we were walking out of the truck. She come walking up, and Mark just kind of kept walking. I could tell that he didn't want anything to do with her. He just kept walking.
Mm-hmm.
And she had asked me if I knew where a rock wall was. And I'm thinking, like this was actually before we went, so I'm sorry. I did not know where the rock wall was at that time.
Mm-hmm.
I told him, and I said, yeah. And I said, it's over there. I said, I don't know if you have to hike up. And she's like, well, I've been hiking all around here. She says, and I just can't find it. She says, my good friend, she goes, does the rock climbing. And she goes, and I'm looking for her. And I'm thinking, I don't think she's smoking a cigarette. She, and I said, I don't know where it is. I'm sorry. I can't help you. So I start to walk away. And as I walk away, I turn and I look at her, and she turns back and looks at me. And then she says really weirdly, like, thank you very much for your help. And I'm thinking,
weird.
I'm going to help you, but okay, and I just kept walking. And I turned around, and the trail was straight. So there's a straight shot of, I would be able to watch her walk to the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
She disappeared.
Oh.
She was gone.
Oh.
In order for her to get away that quick, she would have had to either have gone into the creek bed or up on the railroad tracks, because there's a rock quarry right there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking there's no way this woman would have been able to walk down into the creek or climb up that big steep little hill to get to the tracks. And my husband pointed out to me, and he goes, she was smoking a cigarette. And I said, yeah. And he goes, you didn't even react to her cigarette. He goes, you're very dramatic when somebody smokes. Because I was taking, the cancer meds at the time. Okay. And any kind of smell would make me gag, cough. He says, you didn't go like this and start gagging. And I'm like, I didn't smell it. And he goes, you didn't smell her cigarette. And I was like, no. And he goes, I didn't either.
Oh.
So that's why I'm saying that's a very weird place.
Well.
Yeah,
I wonder if other people have run into her.
I don't know. I mean, if she was a real person, I don't know how she disappeared so quickly, because I didn't give her enough time before I gave her that third turn around and look at her.
Yeah.
And she was gone. I know some people said, oh, that was a skinwalker or shapeshifter or I don't know. I'm just, she might have been just a ghost, but Mark and I both seen her.
Yeah. And it's weird that Mark saw her that time also.
Yep.
Because usually, from what you say, he doesn't see, you see them, but he doesn't.
And he was hearing weird bird calls.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, this just doesn't sound like a real bird. I could not hear them. He could, I could not.
Huh. So
I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
No prints or anything like that were found, nothing like that. But,
right.
I ended up making it to the area. It got rocky, so Mark had to stop, and then I just continued on to go look at the white image, and it ended up being like a flat white rock that kind of overlapped the creek bed. Like it used to be a bridge, so it was like not a rock, but cement. And I think, okay. And it's like, that's what that was. Because I always go back to confirm, like, what is in this picture.
Mm-hmm.
And usually it's nothing. I'll go back. And
yeah. How's his ankle? How's Mark's ankle?
Good.
It's good now?
Still a little swollen.
Yeah.
Every now and then, but he's getting around pretty good.
That's good. I'm glad.
Yeah, he does more walking with me.
Good.
He's doing really good. We don't go too far. The area that I have, we don't have to go too far.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's good.
mm-hmm.
No, I was thinking about the little toddler Bigfoot that you saw, and you described its hair as sticking up, and it made me think of baby chimpanzees. If you've seen a picture of a baby chimpanzees, the way their hair just sticks up, like a mohawk on their hair, their head all sticking out and everything. And that's interesting.
Yeah. But I question the eyes.
Yeah.
Why did I see white little flashlight eyes?
Yeah.
And then they went black? What was that all about?
And this was at nighttime?
No.
Okay, it wasn't at nighttime, it was daytime.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah. That's what has me questioning. Oh, it's okay, David. Yeah. People say, well, their eyes don't glow. Their eyes don't, they don't, yeah, they do.
Yeah, it's, I always say, okay, I'll fall back on science, but there's always a possibility of something else. And it could, again, it could be science. It's just science that we haven't discovered yet.
Yeah.
Because, okay, that's why I asked if it was nighttime, and people say, oh, their eyes glow, at nighttime, they're out hiking and there's no moon.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell them, I said, no matter what, and I don't care how dark it is at nighttime, there's always ambient light of some sort, unless you're deep in a cave, with absolutely zero light. There's always light, ambient light from something. And their eyes are completely black. And you know how our pupils enlarge, in the dark in order to gather in as much light as possible so that we can see in the dark.
Yeah.
And that would be their eyes. They're so good at walking around and traveling at nighttime. That's because, their pupils are so huge.
Yeah.
You can see.
Yep.
But, as for, glowing eyes at daytime, that's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's the image that I have stuck in my head, is that first catch.
Right.
What got me in there, it was cloudy day too, because it was raining. So I can't say, oh, well, the sun was shining in through the trees.
Right.
It was very cloudy that day.
Yeah, in order to reflect off their eyes or anything, but no, interesting.
So I don't know. And if it weren't for its little eyes, I probably would not have seen them. I mean, they would have, because they were there. I'm sure of it. They were sitting there the whole time that we're, talking about the prints and, just hanging out. It's like,
well, that's interesting though. If it wasn't for its eyes shining, you would have walked right by. Yep. And it was the little one. It was the toddler. So it made a mistake out of it, inexperience, by letting its eyes do whatever it was that it was doing.
Yep.
Because usually they'll just stay hidden. Interesting.
Yeah. It's just the fact that those two were sitting there. I know Big Brother was there watching the little one.
Yeah.
Where was Mama and Dada? Where were they?
Yeah. Yeah. And apparently Mom and Dad found out that there's humans around. They're getting too close to the baby. So they pushed down a couple trees, and you were not going away.
No. And that's what worried Mark a little bit. He's just like, he goes, I just don't want you to be so. When he says naive, he doesn't mean it in a
Right,
derogatory way.
right.
He just meant like, and I said, I completely understand. And I said, but I was glued.
Yeah,
It was almost like not in a trance, but like I could not pull myself
right.
away.
Yeah,
Uh,
they would have ramped it up if Shelley wouldn't have broken your attention
yep,
away from them. They
yep,
would have ramped it up, and probably mom or dad would have come in and done something, roared, or maybe even show themselves to let you know that, hey, you're not welcome, go away.
yeah,
But on the most part, yeah, they won't hurt you unless you were doing something actively um, to harm one of them or their babies.
yeah. No, definitely don't have any of those intentions.
Yeah,
And you hear stories that they have been injured, by humans.
yeah, yeah.
You
Yep,
know,
they have. And humans have been hurt and killed by them also.
yeah,
And there's bad ones of them.
yep,
Yeah, and you don't know.
no,
In which case, you still, no matter what, you have to be cautious. Whenever you do go out, until read their intention,
yeah,
or get the feelings, as to, okay, I'm okay.
right, right, yeah. I love doing it. I don't think I'll ever stop. I don't even think I'll bluff
Yeah,
charge. Well, I'm not gonna knock on wood. I'm saying I don't. I'm hoping nothing gets me to the point where, because you hear a lot of people get, they end up getting sick,
yeah,
um, you
yeah.
know, um, or very, severely traumatized,
Hmm.
because I really do enjoy doing it, even if it's just finding their little the prints and that's
Yeah,
it. You know,
yeah. I'm still at it. It's limited. My health kind of stops me now from doing going as far as I did before.
yeah,
I can't do what I used to do, but I go as far as I can,
right,
and I still get out there as much as I can. I may hold down base camp, but at least I'm there.
yeah. Hey, that's all.
Yeah.
Like I said, you're there. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Because I've been bluff charged. I've had tree limbs thrown at me. Rocks thrown at me and growled at. Very close. And 3 trees knocked down around me, but yeah, I'm still going after them. I just love learning, because that's what it is. I'm doggone curious about them. I want to keep learning,
hmm
and yeah, I think that's primarily what it is.
yeah. Now, do you believe in the mind speak? Do
I've
you?
never experienced it,
Okay.
but I do believe in the possibility of it. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't. I know that time when I went with Kirk, he did say it was okay to say his name.
yeah,
Um, the west side of Pennsylvania.
yeah.
Um, I know that when we went down into that area, I can't say it was mind speak,
Mm-hmm.
but I was making like a wreath out of the dead grass
Mm-hmm.
because I was going to leave it as a gift and just hang it up on a tree. Um, and I was just humming. Mark and Kirk were kind of um, Kirk was letting him like show Mark like where he saw the Dogman and stuff like that, and I'm just humming along, um, making it, and I felt like this giddiness coming over me, like
Yeah.
pressure, like hurry up.
Mm-hmm.
And I even said, well, you know what? And I said, don't rush me. I said, and I said it out loud. I said, I'm only human,
Mm-hmm.
going as fast as I possibly can. And yes, this is for you. I said, if you're asking me, this is for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I finished making it. I hung it up on the tree, and it started to rain, pretty heavy then. And we had walked down into the holler, and both Mark and Kirk, have bad knees.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, we better get up on out of here before the water starts rushing down. So we started to walk up out of the holler, and we heard humming.
Oh.
I was like, do you hear that? And they're like, yep. I said, are they humming? I said, something's humming. And you said, yeah. And they said, Kirk goes, weren't you humming? And I said, I said I was. And he goes, they're mimicking you. And I said, that quick? And he goes, that quick. That quick. Then a few months after that, we went back to that area. And I got a little disoriented down there.
Okay.
We actually went down there with a camera crew.
Okay.
We did that documentary, and
Yeah.
and I told Kirk, I said, I feel very sick here. It's not the same. They're upset. They're mad. We should not have brought these people here. And he's like, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I got disoriented, and I wanted to find where the reef was. I could not find it. Took me good 45 minutes. And I finally found it, and all it was at the bottom of the holler. I could not find it, and I finally found it. And it was actually placed up higher in the tree to where I couldn't reach it. So it was put up higher, and it was made tighter. It was braided tighter. I didn't touch it. I left it there.
Yeah.
And then I even apologized, and said, I'm very sorry for bringing these people here.
Yeah.
They were not happy.
Yeah. Now, did they follow you out of there?
No.
No. Okay.
No. But the whole time that we were there, Mark and another researcher stayed back at what we considered like Area A. We were like a quarter mile away from them. Mark heard voices. And the other researcher heard voices. There's nobody out here. Just nobody.
Mm-hmm.
And they were expecting to see people come walking out of the woods. He says they couldn't make out what they were saying. He said it just sounded like a bunch of people chattering, like talking.
Okay.
He says nobody came out of the woods. He says, and as soon as your guys' car was coming back, he said the chatter stopped.
Yeah, it's funny whenever you hear that, and I've heard it twice. The first time it was very close, like on the other side of the wall from me. But the second time that I heard it was maybe a few weeks ago. And it sounds like people talking, but you can't quite understand what they're saying. And it's just gibberish. And, that's probably that's what it was.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's really funny is that day that we did the documentary, and I can't really, I know because I signed an NDA, so I can't really talk much about it, but he is aware that I'm not thrilled. Things did not go down the way that I was told and was expected. So I don't, but they were stalking the creeks too. And I'm thinking, man, we're probably not here at the best time because we're stalking creeks.
Okay.
This is fishing time, like you're right here. And that's where we came, right next to it.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the primary, things that they go after, it's food.
Yeah, we felt the ground shake that day. It was pouring rain. There was nothing to do. So we all decided, because we'd all had a long drive, and we decided we're gonna all just like go lay down inside the trucks, and just kind of take a nap. And literally could feel the truck go like this. And I'm thinking, like, as the other researcher said, Godzilla.
Okay.
It literally felt like Godzilla
Yeah.
was
Like,
walking by our vehicles.
yeah, Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I sat up and it was just pouring rain, so I couldn't see anything.
Mhm.
When the rain stopped, we all got out, and I asked the researcher, did you feel? And he goes, the ground shake, and I was like, yeah. And he goes, like Godzilla coming through, and I thought, yeah. And he says, yeah. He goes, and I also saw an orb go in between the two trucks, his vehicle and our vehicle.
Oh.
And he said, very big orb. And I said, I did not see that. And he goes, oh yeah. He goes, it went straight through. He goes, and after he had seen that is when he felt the ground shake. Because I had asked, is there anything here that could make the ground shake?
Right.
And Kirk was like, no. Because there's, and I said, nobody digging, no, nothing like that. And he was like, no, because I think even what do they call that? The drilling?
Yes.
I think that came to a halt. So that was not happening.
Yeah, no gas well drilling or anything like that.
Yeah. So I don't know. And that night after the documentary, Mark was very on edge. The man could not sleep. He said that he could not wait for daylight to get out of there.
Huh.
He said that he just it didn't feel good anymore. He said, he goes, I just felt this unsafe feeling. And he says, just pure like ugliness, and there was a lot of like ickiness. I mean, we definitely prayed before we left.
Yeah.
I know I walked up. Kirk followed me to the road because I wanted to walk up to an area where we heard in November, we heard like a bunch of coyotes that sounded like they were being attacked. I wanted to walk up a little ways because I had thought I had seen something watching us on top of the hill. They always seem to be watching above.
Yeah.
Because we were down low. And I just wanted to walk up, not all the way. I wanted to get a good look at the tree to see how tall the tree limb was, to thinking, okay, could it have been a little critter, sitting on the branch and moving and looking like it was, I wanted to see how tall, or a bear.
Yeah.
And as I was walking, the loudest tree knock that I've ever heard, really loud. And I turned around and Kirk was like at the bottom of the hill. And I said, did you hear that? And he goes, I did. And then I said out loud, and I said, this is as far as I go. I said, I heard you loud and clear. I said, I am going to go back to camp, and I went back to camp, and then it was just load up and go home.
Yeah.
And I found 3-toed tracks there.
Oh.
Very thin prints. I think they were 16 inches, if I remember correctly, 16 inches.
Okay.
Coming up under the bridge, through like on the edge of the creek, and they went up, and they had 3 toes.
Okay.
What has 3 toes?
Nothing that I want to run into.
No. Nope.
Yeah. That's something I have no desire to run into.
No.
And that was Western Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a fascinating place. Kirk has been back since then, and he said that he goes, it's just, he says it feels so much better. He says it's it doesn't have that dreaded feeling, he says, anymore. He says it feels better there. And I said, okay. And I said, because I had told him, because I had let him know, I'm like, hey, I am all turned around right now. And I said, I just feel completely lost. And he goes, I understand, and he stayed close to me. He goes, I understand.
Yeah.
And he made sure that, because he knows that I'm a wanderer, and he stayed close to me. We found tracks. I want to say was it bobcat? Bobcat tracks, possible
Okay.
bobcat tracks,
Yeah,
coyote
yeah,
tracks,
there's
tracks.
a lot of those around there. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, in that area there was no squatch tracks that day there. They
Okay.
were on from point A. There was a lot of them.
Yeah.
A lot.
But that area, it was the 3-toed tracks.
Yeah, and the same, but those were 5 toes. Those were definitely what I would believe was Bigfoot.
Yeah.
The long stride, I think one of them even had almost 50. I think the print was like 16 inches, if not more, and the stride was like 54
Okay.
inches.
All
So
right.
yeah. And very deep, because it was, a lot deeper than what I could make, because the ground was pretty moist.
Right.
But nothing nothing cast worthy.
Yeah.
Someday I'll find one I tried to cast one that I found in my area, but I didn't bring enough.
Mm.
So it broke.
You have to take lessons from Steve.
Yeah, that's so heavy. But so I ruined that one. But no, that's okay. It's trial and error.
Yeah, I've never casted. Honestly, have no desire to cast prints.
Yeah.
It's just not my thing. I'll take photos of them, I'll measure them, but that's about it. I really have no desire to collect casts. I've got a few. One that Stephen Shelley gave me, and from Cambria County, and a few other ones from. One from Jefferson County, Pennsylvania, and can't remember what the other two from, but
Yeah.
they're just fun.
Yeah.
But Steve, he's the one that he's very good at casting.
He is. He's a good tracker.
Yes, he is.
And he's taught me too, when you see something, him and Shelley both taught me that when you see something that it's a possibility, he said you might have to lift the leaf very gently.
Mm-hmm.
He says, and feel with your fingers. And he says, and if you lift the leaf and there's like a toe indent, he says that's pretty good indication that that's a foot.
Yeah.
You don't want to agitate it, too much, because you don't want to make it look like one.
Right. Right.
But they've taught me that, and even a heel print and then across the rock and then the toes down, it's like you don't always get that full print. In my area, it's never really a full print. Occasionally,
yeah. Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen a full print. Whenever we were building the house here, I would find juvenile prints all around the foundation.
Yeah.
And but trying to think, other than here and then out in Oklahoma, whenever we were around a creek with a sandbar, we found a bunch of full footprints as well as knuckle prints there also.
Yeah. Yeah. I like tracking. I think that, that's
Yeah.
why I got the nickname Lady Tracks. It's like I love it. I kind of stole it from a friend of mine he lives out of state, and he's a tracker. He's an avid tracker.
Mm-hmm.
Been tracking since he was very young, and they call him Tracks. So I had
Okay.
asked him, and I said, you know what? I said, I think I'm going to steal your nickname. And he's like, go for it. And I said, but I'm going to say Lady Tracks. And he's like, I love it. He's like, go for it. So I was like,
Good.
all right, you know.
Good. Yeah, I was wondering, how you got that nickname, and I think someone else had asked in the chat, and I forgot to highlight it.
Yeah, because I did. There's just, and it's not necessarily just the Bigfoot tracks. I like following
Mm-hmm.
the coyotes, the rabbit, the fox, the deer,
Mm-hmm.
bear. At the ANF, I found, the other researcher and we found bear tracks,
Okay.
Bigfoot track,
Mm-hmm.
also a cub track.
Oh, wow.
Kind of like they're walking in the same direction because you can see in the same direction. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
are they traveling together? Is it one was ahead of the, and they didn't overlap each other. So that's what was interesting to me.
Okay.
That it's not like you saw the Bigfoot track stepping on the bear track. It was
Right.
side by side. Were they traveling together? Was it just coincidental that they're
Yeah.
just heading in the same direction?
Yeah, it's possible that they were either traveling in the same direction, or else the Bigfoot was interested in the cub
Yep.
for food.
Yeah. And this
And
was
that's what it comes down to.
yeah, and this was in a BFRO area. I didn't need to ask permission to go there because I've never dealt with BFRO. I've never signed their agreements or anything like that, so I don't need permission to
No,
go there.
no.
And I'm not saying that with disrespect towards them, but I'm just letting them know, like, I've never been to their camps. I've never paid money to go, so I don't need to ask permission to go where I know they've been.
Right.
So, but this was a BFRO past campsite, and it's a pretty good one.
Yep.
They definitely know their areas. So
Yeah. Yeah, they get reports, and probably some reports from my group, unfortunately,
yeah,
and as well as people, reporting on their website. But it's I would never recommend that people give them permission to get on their property.
yeah.
I do not recommend it at all.
Nope.
And that's as far as I go with that.
Yep. I agree. That's why, I keep my area private. I have a select few
Yeah.
of people that I trust because I know they're not going to go there and just tear up the place.
Mm-hmm.
And I know they're not going to go and hoax me, so it's just a very small few. And then plus, this is an area that I want to study. This is the area where I want to learn. And I'm still building, Mark and I are building a trust
Good.
right now. They're not vocal, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't believe they're ever going to be vocal in this area.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, they're not going to give themselves away,
No.
And it's just like I was just watching another gentleman talking about this guy's pretty cool, and I know you know him, but I didn't get permission to say his name. But he was talking about finding tracks in the snow.
Mm-hmm.
How come people don't find tracks in the snow? I have found them on a private land in a private research that I've done, that I do for a gentleman, private research. I have found them, but I went up to our area and there was nothing. Matter of fact, I followed a hunter's boots, and he was a size 11, so we always got our handy little tape measure.
Mm-hmm.
Measuring his boot, and it's like, oh, I fit in there just nicely. It's like, so I followed his prints in because I did not want to give any indication there's somebody else walking back here. Why is there someone else walking back here?
Yeah.
And it is game lands, and it was towards the evening, and very careful. But I walked in his, in his boots, or hers. It could have been a girl. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
No, just little critter tracks. That's it. Bird tracks. Nothing. And I don't, if they're that intelligent, they're not going to walk in an area, especially a game lands area when it's hunting season,
Right.
and say, oh, here I am.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're smart enough to stay in place, like to stay still. Or if they are interdimensional, they went off to their own little, their own little area.
Yeah, wherever that is. Yeah, but if it's hunting season, then they're laying low and waiting to snag somebody's kill and
I
take off with it.
If it's a private area and it's an area where it's not heavy traffic of humans, maybe they are, Stephen and Shelley would be good ones to ask because, they're forever researching and looking, rain or snow. It's if they found any, I've only found some in that private. I haven't found them.
Yeah. I found them, I think, once, and it was just on the edge of the snow, just on the very edge, where they had no choice but to cross over in this one area. And because I think otherwise they'll avoid as much as possible to leave tracks, especially, in the snow, something like that. We found an area up in the Allegheny National Forest where they were, we were at a campground and they were rocking trailers and, the RVs and everything and having a good old time. But at the end of the interaction, they were brushing away their tracks with a pine branch.
Wow.
Yeah.
See how intelligent they are?
Yep.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Mark brushed away the gifting tree. He brushed away all the leaves. Like he tried to make it look like as natural as possible.
Right.
He's like, because there were so many leaves had fallen that we're not going to see anything. And because I left 2 eggs and a blue marble.
Okay.
They finally did take the blue egg. Well, something took the eggs and the marble. I didn't see no broken eggs anywhere. That the shells from like it being a little critter that cracked them open. I don't know if a squirrel could carry an egg away. I don't know. Maybe raccoons can. I don't know. I'm not that avid animal person. To know these things. But I know they took the marble and we looked all around and I'm thinking if a critter took that marble, I think it would have dropped it.
Probably, yeah.
If it ingested it, then I probably killed it and then I feel bad. I don't think it ingested
Hopefully
it.
not.
I think the critters know better. Like, not eating it.
Yeah.
But so that was gone. I've had a glyph left by the Jeep behind. Pulled in.
Did you take a photo of it?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. And it looks like an old ruin glyph. I've had that, like, told Mark, and I'm like, this wasn't here behind the Jeep when and he goes, nope.
Yeah.
And I said, they did this while we were walking. And he says, they had to have, he goes, because it's right there. Like, how would we have missed it? I mean, it's a possibility that we weren't paying that close attention. So it's a
Right.
possibility that it was already there, but I parked the Jeep or whatever vehicle that we go into. It's mostly the Jeep.
Mm-hmm.
Same spot every time. And it was parked, and that glyph was directly to where, straight across from the Jeep.
Okay.
Just perfect. And I'm thinking, there's no way that the wind blew this. Like, there's just no.
Would you be able to send that photo of that glyph to me, please?
I will.
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool. I think Thor, someone did say, and this is by all means, if they're in chat, this is not to criticize them in any way, but someone said that's a witch's glyph. That means you're in danger, stay away. I did not feel like that was, danger. So I disregarded that.
It's a language, just like
yeah. And so, but I did send it to someone who's very fluent in these things.
Okay. All right.
And he came back and, and he said, no, consider that a blessing. He says it means it's a protection sign. He goes, you are always going to be protected.
Okay.
And he said, so consider that a blessing. And so I have.
And this is in your regular research area that you found that?
Yep.
Okay. All right. No, that's good. I know I've been studying glyphs and just trying to, comparing them with ancient runes from ancient languages.
Mm-hmm.
And carvings, and just trying to figure out correlation or a language, and they're fascinating. They really are just truly fascinating.
Yep. Some of the tree structures that I see some people posting, and they look like stars, the way that these trees are.
Yeah.
And when I see them, I think compass. I said, if you look at this, and I said, that is a compass. I said, it's got the 4 points, and then it's got the 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's got the, the northeast, that one. I said, that's a compass.
Yeah.
I said, I wonder if anybody takes the time to measure in between each point.
Mm-hmm.
And then hold a compass directly over it and find north.
Yeah.
And I said, and I know some people probably think, well, that's crazy. You don't know until you try.
No. There's a researcher out in Sweden. Her name is Suzanne Hornung. She discovered that some of the glyphs on the ground, the tree sticks and so on, in a specific configuration. She was looking at them and taking photos and discovered that it was a map of the area.
Yep.
That each stick was laid out, as a stream or a game path or some other landmark, in the area. But it was a map, and probably left there for other Bigfoot coming through to show them, okay, this is where we're at, come this way. So it's fascinating. So those sticks on the ground, they're more than just random.
Yeah. especially when they're intertwined, like you've got one and then you got another, and it's kind of like, your skeptic's going to say, well, that's naturally made. Really?
Mm-hmm.
You've got that center so woven so tight, and everything is like, that's why I'm saying,
Right.
like, where did we learn all our structure? Like from the Greeks,
Yep.
that's what makes me think it's like,
Mm-hmm.
this goes way back,
It truly does. Yes. Yeah. Longer than what people realize.
Yep.
Much, much longer.
Yep. My granddaughter's probably going to come in and say goodnight. I hope that's okay.
Uh,
She
and that's okay
got mad
because
last night because I didn't open up the door fast enough for her.
I'm going to be saying goodnight pretty soon myself. It's almost 10 o'clock.
Oh
And
my goodness. We've been talking that long? I
yeah,
am so sorry. I can talk about this all day.
believe me, I know. And I know Jerry and Jeff, they make fun of me, hey, last night I was up until after 11, on their podcast, chatting with you guys. And no, it's it's different tonight. I can't do it 2 nights in a row.
No. Yeah, it was a long night, but it was so much fun. I love those guys. They're a hoot.
They really are. I love them. And yeah, can't wait to meet them both in person.
Yeah. They don't live too far from me. So I told them, I said, we got to get together. I said, they don't, maybe an hour away.
Yeah.
Most. So
that's great. Yeah. Try to get together with them. And in April, we'll be coming to Micho State Park. And I hope that they can come up, for that.
Yeah.
And I hope you can come also.
Well, I think the following weekend is the Salt Fork.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's May 3rd.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, and I know that's on our well, I don't want to say bucket list, but it's on our list.
Is that the Bigfoot conference?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't bother getting like the tickets to go because I'm not interested in having dinner and rubbing elbows, that kind of thing. And it's no offense to any of the speakers there, none whatsoever. I think they're all wonderful, wonderful researchers and great people. But that's just, I am more sitting by the campfire and hanging out with people and just sharing stories and sharing knowledge, theories.
You can still go in, and walk around the vendor tables, even without a ticket, because I've done it.
Yeah.
Hey, Catherine. But yeah, I go there just to, go to the group camp and hang out with everybody. And, the one time I went and I met Bob Gimlin, got my picture with him.
Oh, wow.
And, yeah, because they said, oh, you can go in there, go around the vendors and shop and everything. I said, sure. And by chance, Bob Gimlin was out there, and it was fantastic talking with him.
Oh, yeah. That I think that would be an honor right there.
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't pay to hear, anybody speak or anything like that. No thanks. I've heard just about all of them and not interested in hearing them again. But Bob Gimlin, I'd be interested in hearing him tell his story. But what a perfect gentleman he is. Just an old-fashioned gentleman.
Yeah.
Well, tell you what, I think I'm going to shut this down.
Okay.
I am wiped out.
Thank you, Catherine. Yeah. No, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
It's always a pleasure to talk to you and to talk about Bigfoot.
Yes. I'm so happy that you agreed to come on and, and share your stories with us. And we got a really good crowd tonight, which is wonderful.
Yeah, good. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I love the Bigfoot community. I just think everybody's wonderful. I love hearing their stories. Some of them have some fantastic encounters. It's amazing. Some don't have such nice encounters.
Yeah.
That's still amazing.
Yeah.
And scares me to pieces because I don't, I want everybody to have nice ones,
Yes. Yes.
I don't want them to be afraid of the woods.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah. They say, oh, I want to see a Bigfoot. They keep saying that, and you keep telling them, be careful what you wish for.
Yes. Yes. Because my day's coming. And I know people go, oh, I can't wait till she can't wait till she gets bluff charged. She can be so brave.
No, I wouldn't wish that on anyone.
I will be the first to tell everybody I was bluff charged and I messed my pants.
Whoopee, yes.
I'll be the first to tell everybody. And yes, I was scared.
Oh.
And yes, I'm going to go out again.
Keep going.
It's like they say, you fall off that horse, you get back on.
You do, yes. And that's the way it is. And unfortunately, there's people out there just too traumatized. And you got to feel sorry for them. But as long as I can get out there and keep going, I'm going to keep going out.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Lavone. Thank you so much for coming on.
Sure.
And I look forward to hopefully seeing you in April.
Okay.
If not, another time we'll arrange to get out there.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Good night, everybody in chat. Thank you for signing on.
Yes.
Love you all.
Yes. Thank you all. And you all have a good night. And we'll see you next Wednesday, 7:30. I think next week we'll have, let me check my calendar. We have Jessica, and I don't have her last name on here. And I can't remember her last name. I'm horrible. But yeah, next week we'll have Jessica on, and she'll be sharing her stories. Awesome. So everyone have a good night. And if anyone has a special prayer request, send me a message, and I'll be praying for you. Okay. Have a good night, all. Good night, Lavone. Thank you.
All righty. Good night. Get some sleep.
Yes.